Metatrader 4, what you need to know to get started. Okay, first thing that we need to talk about is how to buy and how to sell. Everybody on their demo account, that's going to be the #1 thing that you are going to want to do. So we are going to talk about a few ways that you can do that. #1, you see this little right-hand corner? Okay, first thing is that your graph may not look like mine. Okay, this is real easy, and I want you guys to get used to manipulating the graph. So there's two X's here. This top X closes the program, but this bottom X closes and manipulates the graphs that you have here. Now you see down here we have tabs. We have US oil, Aussie, New Zealand, US 30, the Dow Jones Industrial Average. They are all windows down here. So these are all the windows that I closed, and if for some reason your graphs say no data, and that could be possible, you can just go ahead and close all the graphs and you will come to an empty space. More than that, you can close this and this and this and you'll have nothing. And in addition, if you click F11, then even the top menu will go away. Now, please don't worry, that's okay. So the key that you need to remember is F11. It makes your graph full screen. But we don't have a graph right now, so we click F11 again, and right up here we have the Market Watch, the Navigator, and the Terminal window, which we just closed. Those are the three most important windows on the platform right now. You can also access them from View, Market Watch, Data Window, Terminal. So even if you did by accident click F11, you could always go to View and view the Market Watch. You can always go to View and view the Terminal, which is where your trades are going to be at. And you can also click View and then go to Navigator. Now when this happens right here, you see how the Market Watch is right up here and the Navigator is taking up all the space? If you hover between the two, see how they're windows, they can pop out and pop in? You can hover in between them, click and drag down. You see how I got it right here in my crosshair? I can click it and drag down and make it like so. If you have no symbols in your Market Watch, that's also an easy peasy fix. You right click anywhere in the Market Watch window and go to Show All. And if you want to show only specific symbols, you can click Symbols and you will have all the available assets from the broker. Again, we won't be going through one by one. When you become a more proficient trader, you can then program the platform however you see fit. Right now we're just going to see all so that we have an opportunity to manipulate them and open the graphs and place orders. Now if you right click on the graph yet again and you click Spread, you get a very interesting window. You can see actually the difference between the bid and the ask in points. So the spread or the commission that the broker makes for the Aussie Swiss franc is 33 points. And all in all, there's really it's a really good place to see how much commissions you're paying for what asset class. Okay, so we have a blank graph. You right click on the asset that you want to trade with and click this chart window button. It's a plus chart window button and you get a new graph. But what if your graph is really ugly and you don't understand what's going on? Like a lot of your windows will look like this. That's okay because we're gonna make the graph how we want to see it. Very basic and very simple. We right click on the graph and go to Properties. In Properties, we choose a color scheme that's either black on white or on black, so we have a black background. And then these candles here are very easy for us to manipulate. So a bull candle is something that goes straight up. That's really simple. We make it green. A bear candle is something that falls down, right? We make that red. And that's really all you need to do. When we click OK, we'll have the graph. Oh, we just need to change the redness of the down candle. So bar down needs to be not lime green, but red, so it really pops, so we can really see it. And this is the graph that we want. Now, besides that, there's an additional window right here of common properties that you can set up on your graphs. And it's very important that you click these things that I'm about to show you. So first, candlesticks gives us the most amount of information that we can get from a graph without showing us the level 2, the market footprint. We can also see the open, high, low, close. That's right here, open, high, low, close. So when you hover over a candle, this number changes. Show grid, it's for those that want to see a grid or not. I'm going to take it off just so that it goes easier on your eyes during today's webinar. Show ask line. So that's going to be on the graph showing you the bid and the ask. By default, this gray line is the bid, how much people are willing to buy for. The ask is how much sellers are asking to get. And volumes, these are the volumes inside the brokerage. They're not the direct volumes that you get from futures or exchanges. So you can put that on or leave it off. It does help in the decision process somewhat. And then we click OK. So see, now we have 2 red lines, no lines in the middle. So, and see the black on green graph. How do we place an order? Let's get to that. If you click on this little triangle right here, first thing we want to do, we want to save the graph like this. This is very pleasing, and now every new graph that we open, see how it changes back to something different? If we want all of our graphs to stay like this when we open them, you right click on it, go to template, this is a template of a graph, and click save template. It's very important. And in this save template, you have to click it by hand and type default. That means every new graph that's opened, it opens with the default settings that you yourself just programmed in. It's a life hack, it's very helpful, and it saves a lot of time. Now, I already have a default template, which the CHYJPY opened, but now if we open the same graph, CHYJPY, it is now saved like our default template. And we also have the ADX, Average Directional Index, which we could get rid of or use in our trading very simply by right-clicking, going to indicators list, and I have 2 indicators. I have the moving average, which is right here, the golden moving average, and the average directional index. Now we click that, go to delete, and it's gone, but we forgot to save it as our template. So go ahead to template, save template, and then save it as default. Alright, so again, moving to how to place orders. We click on this little arrow and a magical window opens of one-click trading. Now I need to caution and warn you that when you click this buy button, it will buy 0.01 of a lot. So it'll buy $10,000 worth of Swiss francs using Japanese yens. So I hope that makes sense. And same thing for sell, it moves right away. Now the first time that you click those buttons, you're going to get a disclaimer. Basically, MetaQuotes is taking the responsibility off of their shoulders about taking responsibility for a mistake that you may make trading. So if we click here, sell really fast, it will open a sell position. That's it. We are already in the sell position. The profit is negative right away because we paid the commission. Remember, the sell price is the one from up here and we get entered right here. And so this difference the broker keeps as commission for allowing you access to the markets. There's another way that you can, I'm going to click F11 right now to get our toolbar back. Interesting. So we got rid of all the market watch, the navigator, and the terminal window, but we can put those back by clicking it on here. Also make sure that you have the status bar and the charts bar enabled. See how we had that history before here? If you click view and charts bar, it'll be gone. So a lot of people may panic when that happens. And same thing here, view and status bar. That's this bar down here. It's also very important. You can see here we have default. That means we're on the default template. And this down here is also very important. It is the connection status. We'll go over that at the end. And then toolbars is the same thing. You see how we have toolbars here? And you can use these little gray lines here that allows us to move and manipulate this toolbar and give us more real estate. It's just a little tiny increase in graph space, but nonetheless it's very good. And here in view and toolbars, you can get rid of some of them. Like we just got rid of the standard toolbar where the Market Watch Navigator and terminal window was open. So again, view, toolbars, standard, and we have these buttons up here yet again. So that's one way to open a trade, and you can manipulate the amount that you want to trade right here. Like we can trade 100 lots if we need to, which is $1 million. We can trade 0.05 lots if we need to. You click enter and then it solidifies that amount. You can also manipulate it using these arrow keys. And one of the most important things about this window, I usually don't trade by hand and I don't recommend it. What I do recommend is setting the amount that you want to trade there and then right clicking on the graph. Like say we are in a channel right here. One of the best suggestions would be not to trade from the bottom like I just did to make the example for you, but to sell from the top of the channel. So we right click on the graph and we put in a sell limit. A limit order, if you think about it as a V, a sell limit is an upside down V, a buy limit is a right side up V. So I click the sell limit, it's an upside down V. When price gets to that level, we will open a sell position going down. Very handy tool, allows you to indicate levels, price levels on the graph that you want to sell or buy from. And once we place the order, we can click the green line and drag it anywhere we want to. Now you see when I get closer, it's closer to green. That means it is close to opening. If I have a stop order, like here, if I click and drag down an order that's already opened, if you click and drag an order that's already opened, you can by hand put in a stop loss and take profit. Now you see when I drag it down, right here on the left hand side it's a take profit. I drag it up, it's a stop loss. You see that little SL and TP? TP is take profit, up above is SL. And I put the stop loss up here somewhere. If I drag the stop loss down, do you see how now it's red on my screen? That means that we are close to activating the stop loss. And here we are close to activating the sell limit position. And if I drag the take profit up a little bit, it'll be green, indicating we are close to activating the take profit. So another way that you can place an order is through the new order window. Here we have the symbol, we can pick it right off the bat. The volume, very important that you indicate something proportional to your account size. We don't recommend trading anywhere above 5% of your account, and that's only if you have a lot of indicators and a lot of factors that add to your trading strategy coming together. So 5% is quite a lot. Try to keep it as low as possible. Now the stop loss you can signify right away with the numbers on the screen. Now how you can see exactly what level you want, if you click the middle mouse button, the little scroll wheel, if you hover over the graph and click the middle mouse button, you get a crosshair. Super important tool because you can even measure things on the graph. So here I want to measure this distance from there to there. So the first number, you see that little 5 that we have? That means there was 5 candles, 5 periods. The second number is how many points the price traveled. So we traveled 140 points, moving from up at 111,518 down to 111,409. That's 140 points. And then the last number, the 378, is the number of is where the crosshair finished. That's the finishing number. So why did I tell you this? Because you can hover over which level you want to set the stop loss at. Let's say, you know, the top of this candle. I see to the right, it's 111,731. So our stop loss would be 111,731. Oops, excuse me, I was really quick to do that. So once again, 111.731. You have to, oh, this is a new order. Okay. So this is a new order, and I'll show you guys how we can execute by market, and it'll put in the take profits and the stop losses. And then say our take profit will be 111.237, 111.237. I don't want to do a market execution because I already have a trade open, and so let's do a pending order, and let's do a buy limit. So pending order, buy limit. Remember, buy limit is an upwards V. It's a V that looks like this. So when price drops down to wherever we're at, it's going to go back up. So I guess that's not, our digits here would be reversed because the take profit needs to be above because we're buying, and the take profit needs to be, or sorry, the stop loss needs to be below because we're buying. If we go against us, then that's negative territory. We could even do a sell stop. A sell stop is a straight down, it stops and then keeps going down, but our position at that stop is activated. So we're probably going to do a sell stop to keep our stop loss above us and take profit below us. So let's place it at, and then we indicate at what price, and let's say we do it at 111.3. We go to place, boom, right away all of our stop losses and take profits have been placed on the graph. So here you can see 111.371 our stop loss, 111.237 is our take profit, and our position opens right here. Now you can click and drag this position, and it will drag your stop loss and take profit in proportion to what it was before. Very handy to manipulate the graph. If you see new levels coming into effect, you can take and move your positions further. Now you see that all the orders that we put that are pending orders and our active orders are all down here in the trade window. This is a very important window you should have open all the time so you can see how much profit and how much losses you are incurring to your account. And also you can close positions at the flick of a switch. So we have our pending orders. Let's just close those right now. All right, those are off. They're off of our graph and they're off of our account window, but you can see them here in the account history. You can see right here in the account history, and in the account history you can right click and show either your last 3 months, last month's, a custom period, or all history. This is all of my history. Again, I only use this account to show people how to trade. So those are the two ways you can place orders. New order, you can do either a market execution, which will open you at the current price, or you can do a pending order, which allows you to put in any one of these four orders. And we'll go through each one of these orders, what they mean, and how to use them. Let's go through the different buttons that we have up top. There's some very important ones that I want you guys to keep in mind, and I will make sure to tell you about those. So create new chart. Basically, you open another chart window. So here we have the US dollar, Singapore dollar, USD, SGD. And again, you right click, or sorry, you click this little triangle to open up this window, and then you indicate the trade size. This window here is profiles. Once you have set up all of the charts that you want open, this is a very important window. You go save profile as, and then you click, you type in whatever name that you want for it, and then click OK. So now we saved this profile. And so what happens if you lose all of your charts and you lose half of your windows? What do? We go to profile and we open up demo. Oh, did that really happen? Hold on one sec. Okay, so actually it saves automatically. So be careful. You can do the thing that I just showed you. You can do it when you want to switch between different asset classes. So say you want to open everything that has to do with the Swiss franc. You open all of those. You save the profile as Swiss franc, for example. Right here, they're all USD, but they're in different time frames. This one is the H1 time frame, H4, and daily time frame. So that's another way that you can kind of organize your graphs. This is a little bit more advanced, and we'll go through this when we give you life hacks on how to use the Metatrader platform. Just right now, I want you to know that that is a way that you can save a chart layout. The next button, Market Watch, is also very important because it gives us a few different information windows. The first one is the symbols. Now the symbols information window is extremely important for two reasons. A, that's your library of assets that you can trade, and B, you can see the specification window on the asset class that you so desire. Now, what do we have here? We have the spread, and it's floating. That means during volatile times it gets bigger, during stable times it gets incredibly small. The digits is the amount of digits that we have on the screen, so there's 5 digits in all. The stop level means that you can move your stop loss or take profit 5 pips up or down away from current price. This is a really good amount. Contract size, this is the maximum contract, or sorry, this is the lot size. So one lot is 100,000 base currency, dollars in the case of dollar franc. The profit calculation and margin calculation basically means that's how much margin that you have on the account and how much is given to you. By default, it is 1 to 400. So the broker gives you 400 times the amount of money to trade. Now, a lot of people have the misconception that it is actually negative, that it's bad and you shouldn't use so much margin. But it's a double-edged sword. You would not be able to make as much money if the broker didn't provide you with that much margin. If you only have $100 and you trade $100, you wouldn't make anything. You would make pennies on any trade that you would have on. And maximum you could probably trade is 0.01. But because you have margin, you can have $1,000 on your account and you can trade up to $400,000 worth of currency or any other asset class that the broker provides. And there's also gold, oil, and indexes, which allow you quite a bit of diversification. You don't need to trade specific stocks when volatility picks up above the number of 15 on the VIX volatility index. That's a time to switch over into trading indexes. So all in all, it provides you great diversification and gives you a chance to participate in world stock markets. So very great tool in that regard. All these things are not as important. GTC mode, that means all your pending orders remain open until you cancel them by hand. The volume step, that means that each volume moves 0.01 of a pip. And this right here is probably the most important thing, the swap long and swap short. You should really go through each asset and see where you can get the best swap long and swap short. What this means, every day, because you're taking one currency from one government and you're transferring it to another currency in another government, the brokerage, they hold this money on a bank account, and you can either gain interest or lose interest by having that deal open. So that means if you sell the US dollar for the Swiss franc, each night you will get 2.79 pips of swaps added to your account. Basically, for as long as you hold this position open, you make money every day. So this is a really great tool to use if you're trading an asset that is going short anyway, and you're also making money from interest on the brokerage account. So basically functions like a bank account when you open these types of positions. But keep in mind also that the swap long also affects it in the opposite direction. So if you're buying the dollar franc, you're going to be losing every day. And the quotes, this basically means when the quotes are open, when you get a live data feed and you can actually trade. So there's about an hour each day that there is time that the broker has downtime when the servers are shut off. So keep in mind, this is a good place to see when you can start trading and when you can open your positions. Like Sunday to Monday is a very good time to keep an eye out on the euro dollar, because the euro dollar gaps, and with a 65% probability it closes those gaps. Now, I'm not a gambling man, but I love those odds, and so I usually stay up for that, and then I get up real early too to provide you guys with the best webinars. So that was the symbols window. Moving on, we have the market watch window. Like I said, that's what we're going through right now. And the tick chart in the market watch window basically is a graph of tick by tick of every trade that's going through. And we talked about server time, guys. This is very important. When you see on the market watch window the specification, this time may be different than what you have on the on your time down there. And what that means is that this is the time that the server is actually going by. So where my server is open, it's right now 9 a.m. and that's also going to be what this what these times coincide with. So next we have the data window. The data window is only useful if you have an algorithm. Right here, expert advisor also means algorithm that you can actually program yourself, or you can download from the internet, or you can buy from the market window down here. Next, we have the navigator window. Now this window right here, the navigator, is very important because it allows you to switch between your different accounts. You may have more than one account, you may have more than two accounts, you may have a live account, you may have a demo account, and you can tell the difference that a live account has this beautiful beige jacket and the demo account has a little green jacket, and you can tell the difference between them just by using color and also by the server that they're on. Like this is the OlympTrade live server and this is my trade account. Also, you have an indicators window. These are all the indicators that are installed on your program. This is a little bit more of a messier way to install indicators. You can do that by going here, going to insert, indicators, and installing any indicator that you like and that you have studied and you know that it works for you. Like here we have the Bollinger Band indicators. I'm going to get rid of this Swiss franc thing. Let's open our default see, and it saved those assets that I had before that I was showing you. So that's a really quick way that you can switch between asset classes. Moving on, next we have the terminal window, which is this window here. All in all, I would say that this is one of the most important windows, but all three of these are very important and I recommend to have all of them up. If you need more real estate space, you can click right here. You see how it turns into arrows? And you can make it bigger or smaller as you wish. Like say you may not need to have all that information. You may just want to have the asset classes, and you can tell right here what these different options are. And also you can make this window smaller, and you can actually switch of where it is. The terminal window, you can put it different places, but it does have a snap in effect. So the best place to keep it is the default places. But again, if you have a window that, or sorry, not a window, but your windows is not landscape, but it is up and down, it's vertical, you can also change and move these things around to suit your needs. So the terminal window, let's go through the terminal window because it is one of the more important windows, and the options that you have here are super, super important. So the first window is the trade window. Those are all of our trades that we have open. Exposure is how many different assets you trade, what your result in dollars are. My account is open in dollars, and this is the result. The account history is all of the trades that you made. The news, this is very important. This is news from different very big news outlets. Like we can get news from Dow Jones, from Reuters, from Bloomberg, a lot of things from different data providers. Now, as the broker chooses, they provide you with more and more news information. And here basically you can go here to have a look at fundamentally what kind of shifts and changes are happening. Also the the economic news that come out will usually get published here as well. Now, the next button that we can go to is alerts. And this is a fantastic tool. Let's have a look at it, like the Swiss franc. As we get down to our order, like say we break through this level, I want to add to my position. I want to sell some more because it's going in the direction that we forecasted. We can right click, go to this option of trading, and go to new alert. And see this red arrow appeared right here, and also a new alert appeared right here. You can actually set your terminal up. You can set a moving stop loss and set up some alerts and then go sit down on the couch and watch some TV, because the trade terminal will send off alarms, a signal that your price has been activated. And you can check by going to the alert window, and counter means how many times price has touched your alert button. You can also move the alert as you see fit by clicking the little red icon. You should be able to move it. Here we go. By clicking the little red triangle, you got to click the exact triangle, like I wasn't clicking the triangle, and you can move the alert wherever you need to. If you want to get rid of the alert, you can either right click on the alert here and go to delete, or you can right click on the alert here and then go to delete. And also, if it's an important level that you have the alert, you can keep turning it on and off as it activates. Now, the limit here means that it will go off 10 times, and you can change that limit to whatever you see fit. And there's a lot of other options that you can change here. They're pretty self-explanatory. I'll let you go through them yourself. Now, if you click the test button, you can actually hear the alert. You guys hear that? That is going to be the sound of the alert that goes off. So, really handy tool. I'm glad that now you guys know what it is. Here in your mailbox, this is news that the broker may have for you. It's a pretty important window. You guys should keep an eye out for it. And last but not least, market. Now, this is a very important window that allows you access to all the different little bells and whistles you can buy from MetaQuote's platform. I don't recommend getting into any of these because even though some of them are pretty expensive and some of them are free, and you can buy indicators, scripts, expert advisors, all sorts of things here, but it is not guaranteed, and nobody is responsible for your losses but you. So it's very probable that you buy something for $1,000 and yet it ends up being totally useless to you. So I recommend first getting used to the platform and then starting to mess around with these things. Now, another beautiful part of Metatrader platform is that you have signals that you can sign up for. I used to run my own signal, but when I switched brokers, I obviously left that signal to go. I will be opening something new, so if you guys that are interested, keep in touch and ask me periodically, and I'll let you know if I have published my own signal. And you can visit all sorts of different menus in the signals window, and basically you don't have to allocate. What is a signal? Okay, this is very important. Another trader who's been trading for a long time, he connects the Metatrader platform to the online platform of MQL and publishes each and every trade that he makes. So say I make trades throughout the day, you can copy them automatically. If you leave your terminal window open, it will automatically copy the trades that I make throughout the day. It gets rid of a lot of the thought process, but also puts a lot of risk on yourself and in trusting that trader. Now, the beautiful part is, again, that it's hands-off, and you don't have to allocate your whole amount. You can allocate just a small piece of that pie. So you can trade 75% of your capital, but as a way of diversification, you can give 25% of your deposit, allocate it towards the other trader trading in your name. Very beautiful. So articles is some things that that you can read that traders, so here we have articles that are written. basically, it's just a blog that many people choose to run, and it gets published from the MetaQuotes website. You can also write your own articles or read what other people have to say. So Codebase is things that have to do with the different algorithms and indicators that you have on your computer. Experts are actual working indicators. So this is these expert advisors. There's two that come pre-programmed automatically on your account. We'll go through those in detail in a different webinar. And last but not least, the journal window. This is a very important window. If you have problems with connecting, if you have problems with your account, this is definitely something that, I just want to move the stop loss above those levels and take profit just above this level. When we drop down, I want to take that trade. Basically, if you can't log into your account, there's two places that you should look. First is down here in the connection status window. If you're connected like I am live on my account, you will have the connection window green over red and a connection speed. This is very important because if you're lagging, if you're trading in a coffee shop, or if you have a bad connection, the connection status will tell you about that. It'll tell you what the connection speed that you have is. And actually, if you click on this window, you can actually choose a different connection route. Like this connection goes through Hong Kong. This connection goes to Japan. This goes through a mastered IP, DNS, and this is the main one, the quickest server. And also there's backup servers in case there's an issue. Trade works very diligently to provide absolutely no downtime so that there are backup mechanisms so that you are safe to trade and are protected from all sorts of different internet instabilities. And in the journal window, you can also see that if you logged on, like here we have, I logged in and connecting authorization. So all of these things you can also see, and actually it even shows you what the computer that you logged on from. That's very interesting. All right, you guys, so those are the terminal window tabs. Let's go on to the strategy tester. Now this in and of itself is a very difficult window. The strategy tester allows you to A, back test your own strategies, and B, it allows you to test the expert advisors. These are the two robots that come pre-installed, and actually we tested the moving average robot, I think it was 3 weeks ago, and you can actually modify it and configure it. Oh, sorry, this will open the, so this is Metaeditor. This is a way for you to get inside of the programming language of the robot itself. Some of me and some of my colleagues, we went to expert properties and optimized the different values for the robot, and we ended up getting something like 20% over 3 quarters when we tested the strategy. So actually they do work. Some of them are really good, and basically the moving average cross is a golden cross strategy, and that's a very widespread working strategy because basically the average of prices when they change direction, that's an opportunity for you to get in. That's the very basic mathematical logic behind that robot's reasoning. And then later on we have new order, which we already went through. You can pick the asset class right away, but it's usually best to do it from a graph. So you open up the graph that you want to trade, and like I said, you right click on the graph and then you either buy stop or sell limit when you're above the price, and when you're below the price you either buy limit or sell stop. So here we go, and we'll go through those next. As soon as we finish the icons that we have up here, I'll go through the orders with you so that you don't get confused when using them. Next, we have the MetaQuotes language editor. That was that program that we had that helps you with programming the algorithms that we have. We're not going to go through that today. Next, we have register a virtual server. This is an option that you can take from MetaQuotes. They allow you to buy your own server Now, why do you need to do this? If you're copying somebody's signal and they're making you $200, $300 a month, maybe thousands of dollars a month, and you don't want to keep your computer running all the time, you can pay MetaQuotes, I think it's $24 a month, and they will run a virtual server for you. Next, we have the, I don't think I've ever used that button. Let's click it. Oh, options, perfect. This is just what I wanted to talk to you guys about. So you can actually visit options here, tools, options, or you can click that little circle there. I wanted to go through some of these windows with you. Events, these are all the sounds that your broker makes. You may not want to listen to these sounds. When you get more, at first I recommend you keep the sounds on because they will tell you when you make a mistake. Like you can't do a sell stop, you can't do a sell stop from up there because you remember a sell stop is a straight line and it goes down. So you can do it when the price is above and going down. Then you can sell stop anywhere below here. So basically if you put an order and you click sell stop and you indicate the price to be 0.70, right now price is above 0.70, and I'll turn my sound back on so you guys can hear. It'll give me a sell stop from up there. Oh, we opened it for what? Sorry, we can do a sell stop. So, okay, this is what I wanted to show you. You can't put a sell stop up here. This is what I was trying to say. Hear that, you guys? Do you guys hear that? Let me turn that up for you. When you hear that sound, that means you're making a mistake trading. That's illogical. That's illogical. Price cannot sell stop from above where the price is. I hope that makes sense. Okay, back to options. So that's events. You can turn the sound off by clicking enable disable. Community, this is where you log into your MQL account. Signals, this is how you first of all agree that you can use the service signals, and you have to be logged into your MQL account. And then you alter these options, and basically you can't use more than 95% of your account. You need that 5% for margin, but the rest you can allocate as you wish in a percentage amount. FTP is a straight through is a server where you can keep your charts and save basically everything you want in the cloud. You need to have your own FTP server. Email is if you want to log into your email account. Notifications, this is a great thing where you can get push notifications to your cell phone. You can download this program, Metatrader, onto your cell phone and have alerts and trades that are activated show up on your telephone, which is very, very helpful. Expert advisors, you need to open up options and click allow in order to give these guys a chance to trade live on your account. Trade, this is also an important window. You can set the default sizes, like you don't want the one lot to always be the default, but I like to use last used, and that actually gives me a chance to change the last used amount right there. So it's actually a very handy window. You can also change the default of deviation, and when you one-click trade, this basically allows you to put a stop loss and take profit in a certain amount of pips, or sorry, protects you from deviation from that price. And one-click trading is right here, so this is the document that you needed to sign that you're okay with one-click trading. And then the symbol by default, again, keep it at automatic, or you can choose if you only trade the dollar or euro dollar, you can go ahead and pick the euro dollar or type it in the list. Objects, now these are very interesting options for things that you can then place on the graph, like lines, trend lines, squares, all sorts of objects that you place on the graph. You can manipulate them here. Charts, basically this is how we looked at the charts before. Period separators, basically everything that we already have is already on here. And this is your login, your password, and the server options. So basically, we just went through a lot of different options. If you have more questions about what those things do, you can rewind the video and look at it on your own time. Next, we see the type of graph. These are bar graphs, candle graphs, and line graphs. Like I said, bar graphs and candle graphs are exactly the same, but the candle graph gives you a better idea because it is more visually appealing. It is easier to understand. The plus and minus are very also important things because they allow you to zoom in and zoom out. I like to keep it somewhere around the middle so I can see what the candle pattern looks like and also see enough of the graph. Now, if you want to zoom out in a time frame, here we have the time frames. Like these are daily graphs and these are hourly graphs, 15-minute graphs. That means that each one of these bars right now is 15 minutes. If we go to the hourly graph, each one of these bars is 1 hour. Here you can add an indicator right away, like you can click this button. Usually I would recommend going insert indicator because you get the full name of the indicator, but then you can also go here and do the same thing. Here we have the periods. Again, same button as here. If you want to save yourself real estate, you can, get rid of this toolbar, the time frames toolbar, and then you have time frames right here. Boom, we're on the daily graph, and boom, we're on the 30-minute graph. Time frames. Time frames are pretty self-explanatory. Oh, and also when you have a lot of different windows open, like we have right now, we have the franc, the euro, and so on, you can click here. Oh, that's not the window I was looking for. So these are our template windows. These are our template windows. This was the button I was looking for. You can click this button to arrange the windows as non-overlapping tiles. So if you have a really big screen or if you have a bunch of screens, you can basically use this to organize your assets the way that you see fit. And you can keep your eye on a lot of things that are happening all over the market. Very handy, very useful tool. Crosshair tool, like I showed you guys, this is the same crosshair, but you can do it by clicking the middle mouse button. Very sweet life hack. Middle mouse button allows you to look at the different prices that we have on the scale to the right. Now, moving on, very important levels. So now we're going to go through. So support and resistance levels are towards the end. Let's go through the different orders that we have. I'm going to open up Paint, as much as I hate to do this, you guys. So basically, limit orders are a V. This is a buy limit because when price gets to this level, we buy. This is a sell limit. So right now, price is right here. And in this place, you can put a sell limit. This would be a sell limit. When price gets to this level, we open a sell position. Now keep in mind that if price goes here and then continues to trend up, you will be in negative territory. All right? But if price goes down, then that negative is a positive. So I hope that makes sense. Buy limit is a V going up. Price is right here. It drops down at this level where you put the order, the buy limit. We open a buy, and then it goes up. A sell limit is a V, and when we reach this level where the sell limit is at, we then open up a sell position, and it goes in our direction or against us. Now that was the most difficult part, you guys. That was it. The easier part now happens. The easiest part is what is a buy stop and a sell stop. So a stop basically price is right here. We put the sell stop right here because there's some levels. And when price reaches this level here, we open a sell position. Price stops here, keeps going, and we are in positive territory. If price reaches this level and then keeps going up, because we opened a sell stop, we are going to be in negative territory. Does that make sense? So a sell stop is basically a one-directional move, and a buy stop is exactly the opposite. So a buy stop, we have a level, price is here, it's going up, and this is why we would use a buy stop. Oops. Basically, that's a buy stop, where in this level right here, we have a buy order. Now, if price reaches that level and goes down, then you're going to be losing money. And if price moves up, you are going to be in positive territory because we opened a buy limit, or sorry, a buy stop. I hope that makes sense. Let's look at symbols on the graph. So right now, price is above. We want to buy from this level. See how the trend is going up? We want to know when the price drops down here, we want to open up a buy limit. So remember that V button. So from here to here, and then from here to here is what we are predicting. That is what we have seen to the price to do. So we drop down here, our price, it has to actually touch it with the red line. So keep in mind it has to touch it with the red line. We can either move it up, or we can basically, you need to move it up so it gets activated, and then it will return and go back up. Now this is an important also thing that I just did. You see how when you double click the lines, now you can delete them first of all, or you can copy them. You hold down Control, you can copy that line. But in order to manipulate them, they have to be open. You see how they're closed right now? I can't manipulate them. So you got to double click on whatever figure you're trading to open it, and then you can either manipulate it or you can move it around. Does that make sense, you guys? And then just click delete to delete those buttons. So limit orders, stop orders we went through. Crosshairs we went through. How do you draw on the graph? Here in the upper right hand corner, you can actually pick what tools you want to have on the hotbar window by right clicking and going to customize. I'm going to throw in a rectangle. I choose the rectangle from available options, click insert. It is now in our toolbar. You can use any one of these tools that you find that helps you in your trading, and basically we use this tool to indicate levels that we have that we would like to trade. Again, by default, the tool closes as soon as you open it, or sorry, as soon as you put it on the graph. So with rectangles, it's a little bit more difficult. You got to click in the middle or on the sides. If you click right here, nothing happens. So you got to click right dab in the middle or on the sides, and then you can click and drag it around. If you have a lot of drawing tools and you don't know how to get rid of them, you go to right click, you go to objects list, and it'll show you all the objects. You can click all of them and then click delete, and they will get rid of them. I use Control Z to go back. It's just like Microsoft Word. It'll allow you to undo anything that you recently did. Unfortunately, that doesn't work if you close a graph. Come on. If you close a graph, you can't undo a closed graph. Okay. Moving on. So that's how you put in those things. How do you measure support and resistance levels? I recommend going from the D1 graph. Let's go to the euro dollar. On the D1 graph, basically any outliers that we may have when price gets out of an area, like this here is an outlier. And you can customize any object that you put on the screen by double clicking on it, making sure it's open. See how I have it open here and here. Right clicking on it and going to horizontal line properties, and then you can change the way that it looks to whatever you may want. You can change the way it looks and its size. That did not change. Oh, I can't. When it gets thicker, you can't change the amount that it is. Basically, so that's one level of support for the euro dollar currently. We can even move it up a little bit so that it touches all three lines. These are basically, these are bear traps. So bears get in, they got long during a breakout, and now those traders are suckered in. Now they're stuck in their positions and they have stop losses here. And when price reaches this level here, their stop losses will automatically close, which will cause the market to go up some more. Then we can have another level of support right here, which also acts as resistance. You see, it's a huge level of support, and it's been a huge level of support for the euro for the last, half a year. Sorry, this is the hourly graph. I apologize. So you shouldn't be doing that on the hourly graph. It should definitely be on the daily graph. So the level of support would be right here. We want to capture as much of the price action as we can, but we don't want to go too deep. Like, again, keep in mind, this is not a science, this is an art. So basically, the best way to put in levels is using a triangle or using an area. Like, see how up here we have a whole entire area of interest, and you want to pull it out towards the right a little so that you can see in the near future what's going to happen. And I want to pull this guy up just a little bit. So every time price enters in this area, we know that there's going to be a lot of pressure from sellers because this is a discount area where price gets knocked down every time it enters. Same thing for support lines. Like this area here is our area of support. Every time price enters here, there's a lot of back and forth that goes on, but also a lot of change in direction. And then the same thing, we can pull it down here. Like this would be a better understanding that, hey, this is the end, but also this is the start of the reversal area. So that's how support and resistance lines work. If we open the pound dollar, let's go to oil. Let's go to US oil. Again, on the daily graph, we're going to draw some trend lines. Here, we want to take, if it's an uptrend, we take the lower lines, and if it's a downtrend, then we take the higher lines. So this indicates the downtrend, and obviously we broke through the downtrend when we jumped out in the beginning of the year. Now, what you can do is you can change, again, the format of these lines by going trend line, properties, and then changing the parameters and visualizations as you see fit. So I hope that helps you guys drawing a few levels of support and resistance on your levels. Now, on your charts, now we just started talking about different asset classes. So here you have currency pairs, with the pluses on them. When there's two of them like this is and you can tell what it is by going to specification. No, you can't actually. Okay, so if you have a problem like SGD is Singapore dollar, JPY is Japanese yen. The first two letters are the government, and the last is the last letter in the currency pair for each currency. The last letter is the name of the currency. If you have an issue with this, you can Google it. And same thing with the rest of these, like natural gas, copper, XPT, I believe is, this is palladium, and this is copper, I believe. XPT is copper. Platinum and palladium, excuse me. So this is platinum, this is palladium, copper is right here. Oh, duh. Natural gas, the DAX, this is the Deutsch 30. This is the FTSE 100, UK 100. These are all indexes. So these are commodities, right here to here. These are commodities. These are also oil, so US oil, UK oil, that's Brent and WTI oil. And here we have indexes. This is the German index, the UK index. This is the Nikkei 225, which is the Japanese index. This is Eurostoxx 50. These are the top 50 companies in Europe. This is the CAC 40, the French French index. This is the Hang Seng, the Hong Kong index. This is the S&P 500. This is the most important index in the world, as it gives you an idea of how the rest of the world is feeling. UT 100, US 30 is the Dow Jones Industrial Average. Then we have the ES 35 and the Australian 200. Now, UT is the US Tech, which is the NASDAQ, and the ES 35 is the CBOE ES Index, the Chicago Board of Exchange. This is the French, this is for France. Sorry, Spain, Spanish index. Whew. Okay, so we got through the asset list, so now you guys are aware of what assets you can trade. You have a really wide selection of both. Here's actually gold. This is silver, XAG and XAU, silver and gold. You have a really large selection of currencies that you can trade, and also for those of you that want to trade stocks, you should consider yourself lucky that you can trade indexes instead, as that gives you a more diversified portfolio of things to trade. The great investor Warren Buffett and people that became extremely rich and wealthy, like Ray Dalio, they all also recommend index funds. So basically, these are indexes. They're not even funds. They're indexes that you can trade in and out throughout the day. It gives you a lot more opportunities to trade and to make money as the rest of the world grows. Okay, let's quickly talk about indicators. I don't have time to go into detail, but you can insert indicators very simply. You have trend indicators, which allow you to make money when we go in a particular trade, and you can put moving average on top of moving average. Like you can have quite a bit of different moving averages with different periods on your graph. So you can keep putting them on and stacking them on. I used to have a trading strategy where I had 10 moving averages and it looked like a rainbow, and every time the moving averages crossed over, it was just beautiful, but it wasn't very effective. Also, you can go, again, insert indicators. You can go to different volume indicators like accumulation, distribution. Any indicator that you want to learn about, you can either click the F1 button and it'll go through the different options that you have on the screen. So again, F1, and then you download whatever they're asking you to download, and then you have a full help screen from Metatrader that gives you great detail about different signals, virtual hosting, but also there's a whole bunch that deal with indicators. So here, trailing stops. What is a trailing stop? So let's go on our graph that we have open here. Basically, a trailing stop is a moving stop loss. Like this is the trade that we have open. We right click on it, we go to trailing stop, and then we tell it 15 points. So now our stop loss, I believe, is just a bit less than 15, but as price moves in our direction, the computer will automatically move my stop loss down towards the price. So if price keeps going down like so, the stop loss will keep moving down, 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 down. I hope that makes sense. So you have a whole bunch of indicators here. There's oscillators that help you make money in a consolidation, in a flat, like the RSI. And also, any kind of other indicator. Also through the insert window, you can put in different lines, channels, Gann lines. This is from all sorts of technical analysis that you may have. Fibonacci retracement, you click and drag. This is something that may be confusing to people. Like in other programs, you got to click once and then click again. But see, if you don't click and drag, this kind of stuff will happen. So you got to click and actually drag. and then you have the Fibonacci numbers on your screen, and you can edit this just like you can edit anything else. You go to Fibbo properties, you can change the parameters and the Fibbo levels. You can add new levels or delete levels, change the visualization, change the colors, anything you need and want. It is fully customizable. So we talked about how to set up your graphs. We talked about support and resistance lines. See right here, we moved. So now this stop loss moved down lower. Did you see how it was yellow? When price moves away from us, the stop loss will move down. Right there, you see that how it's yellow? That's an indicator that our trailing stop is active. It's one of the great strategies that you can use to take care of trading while you take care of other things in your life. Let's go through the balance. The balance is how much money you have on your account. The equity is how much you would have if you were to close all of your positions. If you were going to close all of your positions with the minuses, with the profits, everything gets put together in one. The margin is how much margin is used. So right now to open my trade, because I only opened 0.01, I only used 2.5, so $2.50. The rest of my margin is $4,900. That's how much margin I have going on, and the margin level is how much more percent do I have compared to how much margin I've already used. So this number compared to this number, there's a lot of percentages there. Okay, so keep in mind, actually, this percentage level is one of the most important. When you drop down below 100%, the broker, I think it's around 100%. I have to clarify. You should clarify yourself when mandatory margin call. It's called margin call. When the broker closes your positions by force, mandatorily, because you no longer meet margin requirements. Basically, you've lost so much money on your account. If you were to lose more, the broker would go into debt. That's why they go ahead and enforce mandatory margin call. So this position right here is very important that you guys should keep an eye out for. And like I said, last but not least, the connection status. If this says no connection, that means you are not logged into your trade account. You are not logged into your trade account. And you can again tell that you are logged in because the numbers are moving and you have green over red. And any other kind of connection problem, they will show you right here in this window. So we went through a lot of things today, you guys. Congratulations that you sat through everything. It has been a pleasure teaching you all. My name is Yaroslav Birchenko. If you guys have any questions, come to my webinars. I have them every single day at 12 noon. GMT. We discuss all sorts of things about markets. I teach you trade strategies every week. We talk about fundamental analysis, technical analysis, sentimental analysis, and also how to preserve your emotional capital, how you can take care of yourself as a human being, and how to approach trading so that you give yourself enough time to grow, to develop, and keep your account active and become profitable. My friends, it's been a pleasure. I wish you guys good luck trading out there, and I will be here tomorrow to answer any and all of your questions. Thank you, and see you tomorrow. Peace.